All right. It is Tuesday, May 28th, 2024. And from the home studio in Middletown, Delaware, I'm Marshal Manlove from Delaware Sports and My Sports Reports. This being the Delaware Sports Edition and the interview edition of our show. We're going to meet Delaware's first singles high school tennis state champion and his head coach here shortly. But before I introduce you to them, please allow me this moment to, actually they just showed up there on the screen. Let's go back over here. I need somebody to help me out. I am so bad at this. Here we go. All right. This is brought to you by me, Marshal Manlove, stage hypnotist. If you would like a funny, fascinating, and memorable experience for a party or an event that you're having, please consider my stage hypnosis show. Details about which you can find at marshallmanlove.com. Also, thanks to my friends at Aspire Wellness in Newark. They have a cold plunge therapy pod there, and you can find out how that might help you recover from something or other if you go to aspirewellnessnow.com. Now, hopefully, when I press this button, my guests will appear. We know they should because they've already briefly appeared. There they are. All right. Gentlemen, you can't see what's being presented here unless you're monitoring it somewhere else, which would be perfectly fine to do so. But all the way to the left of the screen is the Archmere Academy head coach of the boys tennis team. Introduce yourself there, please, sir.
Good morning, Marshall. I'm Michael Hamilton, the boys head tennis coach at Archmere Academy.
All right. Thanks for making time to come join us. And between the two of us is Delaware's state champion, first singles. Introduce yourself there, young man.
Hey everyone, I'm Andy Zhu. I'm a senior at Archmere Academy, and I'm on the tennis team.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. You've been on the tennis team for 4 years, correct?
Yeah, 4 years.
And you were the first singles state champion this year, but you have won that particular title 4 years now. Is that correct?
Yep, 4 years.
So, Coach, how long have you been the head coach over there at Archmere?
Marshall, this was my 5th year. I was a practicing attorney, and when I retired, the opportunity presented itself to coach these young men at Archmere Academy. And I was there a year before Andy came, and unfortunately that was the COVID year, and we practiced for 2 weeks and our season was canceled. So then the following year, of course, I was blessed to have a young man like Andy Zhu show up to try out for the team. With little knowledge of him, I did learn from who I thought was going to be my number 1 player, Ben Way. He said, "Oh no, Coach, I'll be playing 2 this year. Andy Zhu is a great player." So that was my introduction to Andy.
Well, he was correct. So Andy has done something that only one other person in the state of Delaware has done. Not only has he won 4 state championships, all at first singles, but he did so winning every single match in his high school career. And there's a little discrepancy I saw. Coach, you said 64-0. I think I saw 61-0 somewhere. You're probably right, though. Is that 61 prior to the tournament?
No, he won four matches in the tournament.
Okay.
The 61, I believe, comes from the fact that Andy had 3 forfeits where teams we played did not have a court 1 player, and it's recorded in the system as a win 6-0, 6-0, but he actually did not play that match. So the team gets credit for the win. I guess whoever looked it up and saw the scores figured he didn't play a match and subtracted the 3. That's my guess at that, but he was 13-0 this season and 4-0 in the state tournament.
Yeah, he would have won them anyway, had they had somebody there, right, Coach?
In either event, he was undefeated for 4 years, and the one other player was Brent Morrow at Friends in the 70s. I want to say the late 70s.
What I saw was 89 and 92, but a long time ago, and a major accomplishment either way. Different times, though, now. That's over 30 years ago. I imagine that the quality of play has improved over the last few decades. So I think this particular, and more teams are probably playing now as well. So not to take anything away from the earlier accomplishment, but I think this is probably a much harder feat. So Andy, talk about this season. What stands out to you?
This season, I think, definitely, I think I got closer to the team, not just as a player, but as a captain. I think this season, I tried using more of my leadership skills to help the team as a whole, not just to focus on myself. I think I did a better job definitely mentoring the younger guys, freshmen, sophomores. And because the previous seasons during like my freshman and sophomore years, I was all focused on myself becoming the best, But I think this year, the thing that I'm proudest of the most, not just because I won like another state championship, is helping all my teammates and friends love the sport of tennis and just continue to see them get better.
Yeah, awesome. And so you've racked up a bunch of medals and trophies and stuff like that. Where is your... Now, do you get a trophy or just a medal for the individual state championship?
Unfortunately, we just get a medal. I think for the team one, we get a trophy, but I just got 4 medals.
Okay. And where are those medals now?
They're actually hanging upstairs in my bedroom. I've got all 4 of them just lined up.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. Any other souvenirs, championships, titles, anything like that that you have accumulated outside of the high school realm?
Yeah, I think I don't know how many, but I think I've got around 20, 30 trophies from USTA tournaments, which is basically tournaments outside of high school, and they're all in the same place as my medals too.
That's awesome. So what does your immediate future hold for you after summer break? Or are you going to compete during the summer?
Yeah, I'll definitely see some competition during the summer. Hopefully I'll be playing a pro tournament in China for qualifiers. I don't know if I'll make it in yet.
Oh, wow.
And then I'll be playing a few tournaments in the area too, mostly adult tournaments. Probably the DuPont tournament at DuPont Country Club, the Aronimink tournament, and a few more too.
Yeah, so you stay busy pretty much.
Yeah, definitely.
When the sun's out, you're playing. Do you play indoors at all during like the colder times during the year?
Yeah, for me, it's basically all around. During the summer, spring, and some of the fall, I usually just play outside, and then once it gets colder, I just move indoors. There's many good tennis facilities around here, so yeah.
How old were you when you first had a racket in your hands?
I was around 6 years old, I think. It was my first racket was a SpongeBob racket. It's funny because I used to be a really angry player back then, so I actually smashed the racket into a square shape. It came in an oval like most rackets, but now it's a square because of how many times I smashed it. So not too proud of that, but it's a good souvenir for me.
Yeah, it's a good story though. So yeah, I mean, tennis is one of those sports that's very, very frustrating. You work so hard. It's a lot of it's an emotional game that I have seen. What do you do to help yourself transition from that angry player that you said that you were to maybe someone who isn't as feisty, let's say, or maybe you are? I don't know.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I definitely would say I changed. I'm more calm now. And I think that just comes from experience, like after multiple years of being like an emotional player, getting angry on court, I realized over time that it doesn't help you at all. Whenever I get angry, I just play worse and worse and worse. So after thinking about it, I'm like, I was just like, there's no point in getting angry. I play better when I'm calm. So that's just how I'm going to stay. That's how I'm going to be from the starting now.
So, for example, in the sport of baseball, you have people who go up to bat and take different batting stances that they might model after their favorite player or anything like that. Do you have any players that you watch and maybe model any part of your game like those players that you like?
Yeah, for sure. My favorite player right now on tour is Yannick Sinner, currently number two in the world. I watch him because we kind of have like similar proportions when it comes to our bodies. Like we're both 6'4", both skinny, long arms, and you know, I think he has the next gen tennis style. So like I try to copy him because I just think he's a fun player to watch, and yeah, his strokes are amazing. So yeah.
6'4", yeah, you're tall. How much you weigh, if you don't mind my asking?
I'm on the lighter side. I think I'm around 175, 180.
So do you see yourself intentionally bulking up a little bit, or are you comfortable where you are?
Um, it's tough to say because I definitely would like to get a little heavier, because I'm pretty skinny, but it's kind of like being good at tennis and like being like bulky aren't don't go hand in hand. So I can only kind of choose one or the other, and I think as of now, I'm going to choose staying skinny and being better at tennis.
Well, let me choose a different term there than bulky. Let's say, well, you're going to fill out as you get older anyway, but to add muscle as far as improving your strength is concerned in your arms and your legs,
Mhm.
do you see yourself doing any of that to help improve your game?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think in sports like tennis, I think 90% of the muscles come from the legs.
Mm-hmm.
It's just so, I don't see myself working on my upper body as much. I think definitely I can improve the strength of my legs and, the power that comes from like the forehand, the serve. It's all in the legs. So I'll definitely be working out a lot over the summer to improve that.
Now, it's also a very mental sport in the sense that there's a lot of muscle memory involved. And, you had a perfect season, but I imagine even during that reign that you have, you might have encountered a slump of some sort. Perhaps maybe you weren't hitting the ball exactly the way you wanted to or something. How did you overcome any of that to get back into, pardon the pun, the swing of things the way you would like there?
Um, I think for me, I think breaks are really important because, everyone has bad days. I've had a lot of them during the season too, but it's most of the times I think they come from, for me at least, they come from exterior sources, not just like playing bad. Usually I have like a big test or something, or like I'm not having a good day, and that's what causes me to lose like my muscle memory. So
Mm-hmm.
I think just taking a step back, giving myself some freedom, not practicing, I think that definitely helps me recover from like a bad day.
And how is your coach helping you through this process here? And I imagine, well, let me first ask, hold on to that question, but previous to that, I imagine you have a tennis coach outside of the high school realm.
Hmm.
Okay, now
Yeah.
how do they help you? How does your outside coach, I don't know what you call him, outside coach, club coach, whatever, personal coach, how
Hmm.
do how does he and Mr. Hamilton help you out during the course of your play?
I think Coach Hamilton has helped a lot with me with encouragement. He's a really wise person, and I get angry sometimes on court, but he helps me calm down a lot, and he's given me a lot of advice, especially in tight moments. Both Coach Hamilton and Coach Kevin, the assistant coach on the team, they help me kind of settle down, restart my mental game, and that ultimately helps me play better every time. It's like magic. Every time I talk to both of my coaches, I play better, a lot better as the match goes on. And then for outside coaches, my outside coaches, one of them is Pablo Montana. He is the head coach at UD, and then also Fazil Syed. He's like a coach at level seven tennis. Both of them have helped me a lot with the technical aspects of the game. Um, they both make me do like the same motion over and over again, forehand, backhand, and over time, I just get it just gets instilled into your mind. It gets I don't even have to think about it anymore when I'm hitting. So yeah, they've all helped me a lot when it comes to my game.
Right, that becomes part of that muscle memory that we talked about. So, Coach, what are some of the things that you believe you have been able to do to help Andy continue to be the success, become the success, but continue to be the success that he has been over the course of the 4 years there?
Well, certainly, Andy is a tremendous tennis player. I think what I try to help Andy with, as he mentioned, is some strategy on the court. Sometimes in matches, the young players have a tendency to get caught up with trying to hit the ball, hard all the time. And I specifically remember a match Andy's freshman year. He was in the semifinals of the state tournament, playing the number 2 seed. He was the 3 seed, and he dropped the first set to this young man. Colin Bowers was a very good player, and we just went out and I talked to Andy and said, Andy, you can't keep hitting with this kid. He's eating up your pace. Let's vary our game, hit some loops, start hitting some slices, and move him around a little bit. And Andy ended up prevailing in the match in 3 sets. And I think the as Andy alluded to, was just changing his focus, changing his strategy a little bit to focus on his strengths. His best asset in his younger years was his defense, and as he got older and stronger, he certainly had a much more powerful forehand and backhand. But the key for Andy was to keep him focused. He has another gear physically, and he has even another gear mentally. And when he's in a match that's very competitive, you can see him get into a zone, and we just try to get him to that zone and then leave him alone. Let him go.
All right.
It's like the horse Secretariat. When the movie, when they said, Ronnie, don't fall off. The Secretariat was just pouring down the track. That's kind of how Andy is when he's in a match. You see him moving, you just let him go.
Yeah, sometimes that's the wisest decision, is not to get involved, right?
You don't want to change the focus. Just keep
Right.
on. Once he's there, you leave him there.
So, Andy, a lot of successful athletes that I've met and talked to over the years employ some sort of a mental trick to kind of keep themselves focused or motivated. It could be a good luck charm. It could be some sort of ritual or tradition or habit that they go through before a match, during practice, or whatever. Do you have anything like that? Help keep you motivated and focused?
For motivation, I think definitely. I know it's not like it's not like this, but I like to make the match more personal. Like as if like they're like the opponent is my enemy. I know in my head, like in reality they aren't, but if I picture my opponent as someone they did something to me, or like I don't like them, I think it gets me more in the mood, like more motivated, more angry to win the match. And I kind of do that before every single school I play, even though I know it's not reality. Like all the people that I play in DIA are my friends, but I just like to picture them as my enemy, kind of.
Like they yelled at your dog or something like that?
Yeah, something small like that, but nothing. Yeah.
Now, what's the nutritional plan for you here? Now, I know this would have differed from 30 years ago or 40 years ago. I'm lying if I say 40, it's 45, maybe 50 when I was a kid. So what is your kind of meal plan like during the course of a season?
Definitely no processed foods, that's for sure. I like to eat pretty healthy, a lot of organic foods, eggs, drinking a lot of water, red meat, vegetables. I tend to stay away from like restaurants, unless it's like Wawa, because I'm kind of addicted to Wawa. But everything else, all like the restaurants, I don't like eating there because it makes me, it just doesn't make me feel right the next day. So I tend to focus on only healthy foods and drinking a lot of water too.
Except for so it's a good endorsement, though, right? I mean, no doubt about that.
I
That's
could
not the
get
place I
into
would have
football.
thought of when you said go out eat
Yeah, no,
healthy.
I go there way too much. I'm trying to stop myself, but it's an addicting place.
Hey,
We're gonna put the logo on the shirt.
yeah, right, yeah. Well, you have to drive by every day you go to school. You have to drive by Claymont Steak Shop there. I don't know how you manage to do that on a regular basis because I know I can't
Uh,
when I go up there.
yeah, it's tough, especially after school. Like when people are hanging out, they always go to steak shop. You know, it's like it's tough because I can't get anything there. I try to not eat.
Right,
Yeah.
right. And yeah, I mention nutrition all the time, but really what ends up what people throw in there more often than not is the hydration aspect, right? Coach,
Oh,
when I was a kid and a horrible athlete, we didn't talk about hydration at all. Yeah, I mean, if you were thirsty, you had a drink, but it is a specific plan to hydrate properly before practice or events. And how much do you get involved with all of that, the nutritional and hydration aspect of the team there?
Um,
um. Oh wait, Coach, you can go.
Here, Andy.
Yeah, no, Coach, that one's for you there.
Um, well, I'm always telling the boys to hydrate, especially as we go from late March to April and May. The weather starts getting warmer, and the boys have a tendency to just come with a thermos, that they might carry around the day at school. And when you're in the middle of a match on a warm day, you can go through that thermos in the first, 4 or 5 games. So I always tell them to bring a little Playmate or a cooler with a lot of water in it. Hydrate, especially the night before. The water you drink the night before is what's going to help you in the match. What you're drinking in the match helps you to recover more. So yeah, I'm a big proponent of the water, and even some of them like Gatorade, which I'm not adverse to as well. I think whatever they can get into their system to stay hydrated is a real plus for them on the court.
Now, and did you play any doubles at all, or you just stick with singles there?
I do play doubles, not as often though. We had a doubles tournament this year, but we didn't do as well as we expected. But it wasn't like a Delaware thing. It was more of an outside tournament. But yeah, I play doubles maybe once in a blue moon.
And are you heading to college, university in the fall?
Yeah, I'll be going to Johns Hopkins this next year for
Yeah,
tennis.
that's awesome. That's awesome. And then, so that's a big medical school too, or at least there's a big hospital or something down there. Is that a path for you, or the medical field, or something else?
Um, yeah, I'm still deciding right now. I'm thinking between medical school and engineering school. Um, the main issue for me is just the time management between tennis and school. So I want to choose like a major where I can both exceed well in both academics and athletics. So yeah, still deciding between which major as of now.
So, Coach, you have one of the greatest tennis players that's come through our state here. You're connected to this community. What are his professional chances here, do you think?
Marshall, getting to the professional level, as good as Andy is, at this point, he'd still have a lot of work ahead of him to attain that level, and he'd have to want to put in the time and the effort. Comparing a Delaware state champion to a Division I national champion would be night and day.
Mm-hmm.
Andy might have the ability to get there, but it would take a lot of time and effort. And he certainly has a game, but it's also a lot tougher mental game as well, and as a commitment to fitness. And as Andy alluded to, he's also focused on academics. At this point, I don't think Andy's thinking about a pro career. I think he's more thinking about having a successful college career.
We can always see what happens as the college career, evolves too, right? So,
Yeah,
go ahead, Andy.
Yeah, no, as of now, like I have a lot of goals in college that I want to see. I'm not looking at playing professional because, like Coach said, that's a whole different level. But I really would like to win an NCAA championship for Johns Hopkins and also like myself too in singles, winning the national championship. I think that'd be really cool, and also like achieving All American status while at it too.
Yeah, one step along the way, right?
Yeah,
Take one
yeah,
step
one
at a
goal.
time. No doubt about that. All right, gentlemen, fill in any blanks that I might have left during the questioning process here. Anything important that you want to mention that you think in your head, oh, I wish you would ask me this, or I might have not followed up correctly on something I asked. Go ahead, take that a moment or two to fill in those holes for me. Coach?
Marshall, I guess, can I jump in there a second?
Absolutely, yeah.
One thing I think that, growing up, Andy's father was his coach and very instrumental in his development of his career, his athletic ability to play tennis. His father himself was a very good tennis player, and I knew Kevin up to through Andy's sophomore year, and unfortunately he passed away before Andy's junior season. And in fact, Kevin was going to be my assistant coach because my prior coach had retired. And I think he was very instrumental in Andy's life, and certainly a major factor for him staying focused on tennis as well. And I just wanted to mention that because I'm sure that Andy would want to talk about his dad as well.
Yeah,
Go ahead, man.
To that,
Absolutely.
My father has definitely the biggest impact out of everyone on tennis and just life in general. I think the biggest takeaway from him that I learned is just to appreciate the sport as it is. A lot of people during matches, they get caught up with wanting to win. They get really emotional and they kind of suck the appreciation out of the sport, just enjoying it. And I think that's the number one thing that keeps me going. Whenever I step on the court, my dad has taught me this is like tennis, like everything should be fun. It shouldn't be something, it should be a little bit stressful, but it shouldn't be something that like you have a burden on. It's a fun sport, and at the end of the day, you're playing this to enjoy.
Right, it's a game. That's what it was invented. It wasn't invented from day one to say, okay, now we're going to go to war with other people and countries. It was like, okay, it's to pass the time and have some fun. Yeah, so yeah, it's good to be grounded like that and have somebody that can remind you of that along the way and then moving forward as well. All right, gentlemen, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to come talk with me here on Delaware Sports and My Sports Reports. I want to wish you the best of success, Andy, moving forward, Coach, and continued success to you and the Hawks there at Archmere Academy as well. All right, I'm going to hit the end button here, wave goodbye to our growing fan base here at Delaware Sports and My Sports Reports. Enjoy the rest of your day, your summer, and continued success, everybody. Have a great day.
Thank you, Marshall.
Thank you. Yep, thank you.
So that was Andy Zhu, the Delaware State first singles champion, undefeated from freshman to his senior year, 64-0. First single state champion for 4 years, second person in our state's history to pull off that task. And if you would like to recommend somebody to have a conversation with me here on the show, reach out to me at mysportsreports@gmail.com. I'll roll the ticker here so you can see that. Also, keep in mind that we are getting prepared to come up with a list of the top 50 high school athletes, the male and female, 50 each, here in the state of Delaware. If you would like to nominate someone, Andy Zhu perhaps, is someone who's going to end up on that list of the top 50 boys athletes, just reach out to me at mysportsreports@gmail.com. Please take a moment to subscribe on any of the video platforms where you find these. Occasionally press play. That helps. Yes, it does. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time to play the trombones and exit from this episode of Delaware Sports. I'm Marshal Manlove. Have a great day. The trombones. Yeah.